So let's pull it back in a little bit. I think one of the things that I have found to be really honestly the most exciting that I keep hearing you talk about, and I'm starting to see different flavors of it sweep through the industry in general, is the miniaturization of what we do, right?
Yeah.
So today I was I live in this neighborhood, and I went out to fly, which I'm a lot like you in a sense. I'm an engineer. I don't have a lot of time, and when I do have time, that time is dedicated to my family. And I finally looked at my wife today, and I was like, I'm gonna go fly. And I thought I only had 4 packs. Turns out I had like 8 packs charged. I was like, yes. And so I threw everything in my bag, and I went to a spot that I've been flying where I've been getting a lot of flack from people for flying there because there's power lines all around it. And they're like, I'm like, oh, guys, I'm not going to take down the grid if and when I hit these things. Like, anyways, I'll move on. And as I'm sitting there setting up, I'm like, God, I hear another drone. And I look about, 150 yards to the north of me. And I think I see this guy, but I don't really see his quad, but I could hear it. And so I'm not used to there being people flying FPV in my area, but there's...
Wow.
So it's really strange because at least in my neighborhood, up until today, I was the only one besides me and my kids that flew FPV. And so I start flying,
Wow.
but it has this distinct sound, right? You get the motors winding up, but it didn't sound quite right. So I thought maybe it was like an RC car or something, and because I just couldn't see the drone, and so he actually walked over after I flew a pack, and he was like, what are you flying? And I realized, I was like, oh, this guy's got, like, he's actually flying. And we start talking, and he pulls out this teeny, tiny little thing. And he's brand new to the hobby. He's been flying about a month. And, he got stuck in a tree for the first time today, which was hysterical. He goes to show me how he can fly, and I think he was kind of pushing it a little too hard. The kid's obviously got natural talent. I mean, he's only been flying for a month and he was really good, but he got stuck in a tree. And I just sat there, actually we finally got it down out of the tree. It took about 20 minutes. And this thing comes crashing down through the trees, but it's just like ding, 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 ding. And then it finally hits the ground, and like he picks it up, and I'm like, is it damaged? Because it was at the height that if a 5-inch had come out of a tree at that point, you're risking an arm at least. And he's like, no, actually, he like bends a prop back into place, and he's ready to go again. And he's on a little 2S battery. And the only reason I wouldn't fly something like that is because I want HD video to look back on.
Yeah, I know.
But I hear you, with the toothpick and all the stuff that you're developing. And I mean, do you think, and then there's also things like the Cinewhoop, where people are taking...
I just did a review on it. I just did a review on the iFlight one.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what to say. I can see the market and why it exists, but the performance is just so awful that it's not fun to fly. It's only fun because you get HD footage afterwards, but it's so not fun to fly. You just don't have any control.
But you're also running, I mean, it seems to be like the magic setup on the Cinewhoop is you've got to have the Hero 7 Black with the image stabilization in there.
Oh.
You're not doing acrobatics, right? You're actually flying for produced video.
Yeah, just slow, floating around. But the trouble is that if you have ducts on, even the throttle is unpredictable, so you can't even like cruise low to the ground. So you literally, it's like you're flying with oven mitts on. Like you just have no control. Like it'll yaw well, but the rest of it is just not there. And that's not fun. It's just not fun for me. I can probably weave through branches and do what I want to do much easier, much closer, more impressively and smoother with an open prop design. And the only risk is that if I hit a branch, I'll crash. Whereas in a whoop, I won't. That's the only difference. So just get better at not crashing. There you go.
So do you see a market for the open prop design in that kind of filming environment?
So I'm one person. All I know is what I want and what I like.
Right.
However, I don't think I'm unique in any way, and nothing I develop is really unique in any way. Either I just kind of put it together in a somewhat unique way.
Mm-hmm.
I can't fly 5-inch anywhere. And as you said, when you first start out, you do really risky things, and you're not paying attention to safety. But as you get deeper and deeper into it, you fly less and less, and you are much more aware of your surroundings and what you're doing. And it's gotten to the point where I only fly at like 5 or 6 a.m. when there's nobody around. Nobody is walking dogs. Nobody's on the streets. There's nobody around. And I only fly like 2-3 packs and I'm done. And I leave. I don't want to be kicked out of anywhere. I don't want to disturb anyone. I don't want even the hint of a chance of a safety issue unless it's myself. I've almost killed myself a number of times. So with these smaller platforms, I mean, I was just flying at a park an hour ago. I just had it in the car and I just stopped by and I flew around for 5 minutes and I left. And I would never have done that with anything larger. And it's not just that, it's the regulations also. If somebody does complain, you show it to them. And I had, when I was flying my little 1S toothpick designs that were like 35 grams all up weight, I would fly around, and then this mom came up to me furious that she's like, "You flew like within 10 feet of my kid." And her kid was like 10 years old. And then I had my goggles on while she was stormed up to me. And when I landed, I'm like, hold on, let me land. And I flew it into myself and I landed on my controller. And so when she saw that, I took my goggles off and her tone changed entirely. So there was no safety concern at all anymore. She just furiously stormed off because she was upset that she was upset for no reason, because there was nothing to hurt anybody. And so that is a massive positive aspect. And the fact that you still get phenomenal performance. You get very similar to 5-inch performance, just about, you get almost the same speed. You get everything almost the same. So it's actually a joy to fly. I'm not going to hurt anything. I can put the prop up to my nose or my lip and it won't cut it at full speed. Of course, the 2S1, it can start to cut and cause problems, but it's still almost nothing. I mean, you're talking about 60 grams. This can't cause problems. And so all you really want is the HD footage then. Unfortunately, the added weight of the HD camera and the board just doesn't work out. The performance just goes away entirely. So that's why I do feel like I need to move to 3-inch. And so when I do that, I'm targeting 150 grams or less, and I'm expecting to hit that. And at that weight, when there is no cars around, diving buildings is, in my opinion, safe. Like, it's really hard to cause damage with something that weighs 150 grams and you're in control. It's really going to be tough.
What is, I mean, for the, this is more than 150 grams.
Yes, definitely. A phone is more than 150 grams. It's also the weight distribution. It's something that's spread out over like a wiffle ball. It's like the frame is big and it's like wiffly. It's just like you're not going to get struck by the corner with all of the weight coming right at you at 80 miles per hour. You're right. That's not going to happen. It's like if you drop a phone if you drop something from the top of a building and it hits somebody in the head, a phone is going to kill someone maybe even. But something like this, where you have control and there's nobody around really, there might be like a couple people here and there, you're not going to kill anybody. You might cause a little bleeding at the worst. I mean, there is still a safety concern to some degree, but it is definitely not a 5 inch. Definitely not a 5 inch.
Yeah.
And you still have the extreme control of a 5 inch. So that is really what I'm after. And that, for people at least like me that are city dwellers that just don't have anywhere to fly, it's really an inroads. On top of that, the thing doesn't break. Like, you crash into stuff and it does not break. So it's a great savings there as well. And it costs nothing to build. I mean, we're talking about $42 for a flight controller, VTX, ESC. All you need is the camera and your receiver and the frame. Like, you're talking about $130, $140 build. I mean, you'll have a fleet of them, and one of them will be your HD carrier, and the rest will be like, it's like this dream that I have to get this stellar performance out of this tiny little package that's safe, fun, quiet, not going to upset people, and it sparks more interest in other people. I mean, yeah, the 5 inch and stuff will be great for people that live in like Montana with like endless space, that
Right.
they want like 10-inch quads. So that is a direction that I really think we're headed, and where, I mean, it's amazing to have something that's so fun and enjoyable, that's also so tiny and so quiet, and you never have to worry about crashing. Like, I've flown my toothpicks in situations where I just run straight into a wall at full speed and nothing happens. I don't bend even a prop. Like, it's amazing. So it frees up the ability to do more. And so that's what I'm after. That's what I've always been after. And I hope this is the end of the road. I hope I can just enjoy flying and not do anything else. That's really what I want to do, because it just takes too much time thinking about all this other stuff.
So, it brings up an interesting question. I know you had, you launched your own store recently.
I did. I've tried to do the store thing. I started so long ago that if I had just started my own store, I wouldn't be doing dentistry today. I would just be doing an FPV store. I want to have my own store, but I got so much attention and so many orders in such a small amount of time. I could not fulfill the orders, and it wasn't enough revenue to pay somebody to fulfill the orders. On top of that, I can't trust somebody to manage. I would have paid them all the money to just fulfill the orders. And it's just so much managing all these orders. The day-to-day management of any kind of a store is so not stressful, just time consuming, that I just can't manage it. I really wish that I could. My relationship with Puraflip is independent. I don't have nothing to do with Puraflip. I'm just friends with Sergio. We just do this stuff for fun. And I like having access to develop stuff. So he will fund a lot of things that I want to develop, and I don't have to fund it myself. So it's really nice. And it's nice having access to all that stuff. But I don't make any money out of any of this. It makes nothing. It essentially makes just about nothing. It's not worth my time at all, but it is a lot of fun. So I would like to have some revenue from this. I really, truly would, with the amount of time and effort I put into it. And I'm just looking for that method of revenue that will fit me at this point. And I really just want to develop, and I want to have access to development potential. And that would be my dream, is just to be able to have access to do whatever I want and not have it take 6 months. Because like right now, I've literally been waiting 2 months for parts to arrive just to test one concept. And I would get so far if I had access to like a company like Eachine and their power of development. I feel like I would progress so far, so fast. It would be amazing. It would be incredible. And I can't believe that these companies don't progress. They just don't know what they're doing. I just don't know who they're consulting or asking about this stuff. Like, Cadex just sent me the new 2.1 millimeter lens on their Radal camera, whatever it is. It's awful. It's the worst lens I've seen in FPV in 2 years. I can't believe they thought this was better. I don't even know what to tell them. It's like, it's hard for me to hold back and not just crush their engineers saying, "Are you blind? Do you not see that this is terrible? Like, you can't even see what you're looking at through this damn thing. Like, what are you thinking?"
It's like someone's looking at a spec sheet.
Literally, that's all they're doing. They're just like, "Yeah, this one is better. Let's do this one."
Yeah.
That's it. Put it out.
It's interesting because there's been a few threads throughout our conversation. There is going back to the light, the dental light, and the 3D printer. You like developing products. Like I think that is truly a passion for you, and it is something that you truly enjoy to the point that when you have the downtime or the surgery time to think about developing products, I think that you're not just thinking about concepts. You're not just thinking about ideas. You're not a head in the clouds kind of thinker. I think you're probably
Yes.
thinking specifically about doing one certain thing.
How can I execute? That's always what I'm after. And that's
Right.
also why I talk to a lot of people that have very out there ideas and concepts for frames and things that are just kind of really off the wall, and they seem cool until you think about what it would take to develop and create such a product. And so I'm all about efficiency and getting the job done. And
Mm-hmm.
so the main reason why my frames are cost effective is because I have developed them such that it is cost effective. It's
Right.
genuinely cost effective to make, cost effective to stock, to ship, to manage. And that all plays into the price and the complexity of everything. When you start adding components that require special tools to manufacture, your price just starts jacking up really fast, or you start using exotic materials to make things. I just don't see a value. I want it to do a certain job. Beauty to me is in function. And that is truly beautiful. Like, I hate to relate it to dentistry, but if you look at the way a tooth is developed and you study a tooth, it's magical. Like, nature has optimized this tooth, this function, this structure for incredible things. And that's what I'm after. I'm not after the prettiest looking thing. I want that core quality, and I want to be able to manufacture, and I want to be able to get it out efficiently with no problems, and get people using it, and the end result of other people's enjoyment and moving product, move it,
Mm-hmm.
get it out there, do it faster, do it better. And that's what I really like. So I like improvement of efficiency of development, as well as tailoring the product. Like, Tesla does this to an extreme scale. They have optimized the development of the Model 3 to the point where they're getting their costs all the way down. And the majority of the cost of that car is in the batteries. And they have also developed the battery factory to get the cost down and get the product out there. And
Mm-hmm.
so the car might be great and it might have great look and people like it and whatever, but their true value is in their ability to execute, get it out, make it happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I don't think people realize, like their ability to execute. And now they have this charging infrastructure that no other car company has and can even develop anymore, because they've taken all the optimal spots for it and developed the contracts to make it happen. I don't know how any other car company is going to be able to compete with Tesla unless they start piggybacking off of Tesla's charging network. And that's what I want. That is my ultimate. I want other people to piggyback off my development work. I have a platform for other people to use. And in the startup culture, everybody's always trying to develop a platform for everybody
Right.
else to use so that their platform is valued. Like, that concept is at my core. Like, I want that in everything I do.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's maybe I'm shooting really high. Dreams, really big dreams.
Well, but it's there's but there is a driver to this dream that I think is you've spoken about it several times, and I don't even know that you're necessarily aware of it, which is that this desire that you have to produce is also driven by this idea that you have where you just want to like pull up and fly and have something be very simple and very easy and safe.
Yeah. Yes.
And so I think these two things are going together very nicely.